also my first time using StreamYard. So, okay, yeah. All right, we are live. Hi, everybody. Thank you for pointing that out. All right, my name is Nathan Luth, illustrator, writer, and turned self-publisher extraordinaire. I'm the guy who threw Concrete Arcanum together, which is now live on Kickstarter. I am joined today by Russell Nolte, a gentleman from whom I've learned much. Below me is Brooke Leidick, a contributing creator to the anthology. And there we go. And then down that way is Matt Kunt, who is also a contributing creator and has been really beating the streets about getting stuff out there. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And joining us all the way from across the globe is Vaibhav Kumar. Welcome. Welcome. As soon as it...
Hi, Nathan. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Good morning to you all.
Let's see. Vaibhav was one of the first people to jump on this, and I was not familiar with his work previously, but I was really intrigued by his story. And I'm glad that he could be on. So, first thing, let's go around the class and maybe introduce ourselves and maybe give a sentence or two pitch about the story that we have in Concrete Arcanum. So let's go that way first. Russell, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Hi, I'm Russell. I'm a USA Today bestselling author. I did all of these books. I'm probably best known for either my book, Ichabod Jones Monster Hunter, which is live on Kickstarter now, the fourth volume, or Cthulhu is Hard to Spell, which Nathan and I believe Matt also were contributors to. Yeah, I just got LASIK a couple of weeks ago, which is why I have these cool shades on, not because I particularly want to look like a douchebag.
It's a look. Roll with it, man. Matt?
Sure. My name's Matt Kuhn. I am a comics creator, mostly a writer. I dabble in some illustration. I'm also a podcaster and a publisher, indie publisher. And I have a story called Toll Collection, which is a take on the bridge troll that charges you to cross his bridge with a modern take on that.
All right. And
I forgot to do my thing. I forgot to do my pitch for the thing.
Okay, there you go.
All right. So I have a story with John Eddingfield called Moan, which is about a husband and wife bickering after they hear a monster and whether the guy should go and investigate or just run away. It's a story we've actually been trying to get into an anthology for many years now after the one we produced it for kind of fell apart. So we're super excited that we're able to bring it here.
Yeah. That was one of the nice things about having one that was already ready is that I didn't have to worry about Russell getting his story in at all because it was already ready to go and done. And also, I really loved the way that you have a supernatural thing going on in front of this totally domestic, totally mundane spat. I thought that was hilarious. Joining us now is Kayla Matt, another contributor to Concrete Arcanum. Kayla, we're just going around telling who we are and kind of giving the short pitch for our story into Concrete Arcanum and what it's about. Are you ready to go?
Yeah. All right. So I'm Kayla, and let's see. I've actually done more prose stuff, but I have a 12-book series that's part comic illustration. Yep. And I am not good at talking about myself.
All right.
Take your time. Yeah. My story for Concrete Arcanum is called I Don't Get Paid Enough for This. And it involves, a nurse dealing with a recently deceased body and the two reapers that are fighting over custody of it. Because, one's based in Pennsylvania, the other in New Jersey.
Got the whole turf war thing between Reapers. I love it. All right, Vi Bob, tell us who you are and what your Concrete Arcanum story was about.
Hi, hello everyone. This is Vaibhav. I am a freelance illustrator, so this would be my first work that I've done for myself. I've only done like freelance stuff before, so this is really big for me. The Concrete Arcanum story I pitched was is called "The Truth Is Not There," inspired from the X Files. I was watching a lot of that recently. The story is actually based on real, kind of real incident with because my co-writer is my brother Divyanshu, and the story is about two brothers, where the younger brother thinks that after his brother returns from college after a long time, that he has been replaced by a monster who is posing as his brother. So he has his doubts, and over the course of the 8 pages, he goes through a lot of emotions to realize what is really happening. So, yeah, that's the basic synopsis of it. I really want to see all of your complete works as well, and I hope you see my final work as well. So,
Yeah, I really love the twist at the end of your story. I don't want to give anything away, but it was a decent piece of writing. It actually didn't go where I thought it was going to go. So, and Brooke.
Hi, my name is Brooke, and I'm a newbie to this, so bear with me. So I co-wrote and illustrated my first story with Aaron Casey, and we did a story called Weasels and Witchcraft, and it's about finding confidence in yourself and the brain weasels that pop up and try to convince you of your ineptitudes in life. Mm-hmm. So our story is told by our witch's familiar, Fen, who's a fennec fox, and it's just kind of a fun, goofy little story that we did.
Yeah. One of the things I've really enjoyed about putting together a anthology is having people who are both. I got an entire range of people from new creators who have never done Kickstarter, never been in a anthology before, all the way up to seasoned pros and people who've been doing this for years. So that's fantastic. And joining us now is Sarah Cook. Sarah, I got to put you on the spot here. I was wondering if you could give us a quick synopsis of who you are and what your Concrete Arcanum story is about.
Yeah, I'm Sarah Cook. I've been doing freelance writing and some other digital media for quite a while. I've written for Marvel and Women Write About Comics and some other places. And my Concrete Arcanum story is called Olive and the Ogre. And the artist I work with is Sarah Svetna, who's super talented. And the story is about a girl living in the city, like a 10-year-old girl, and she feels really out of place and doesn't feel like she has a place in this school that she goes to and in this neighborhood that she lives in until she meets this ogre from a different dimension, and they hit it off.
Fantastic. This is an adorable story, and I love the art on it. Happy to have you aboard. So the first thing, the reason I reached out to all of you and the reason all of you applied to be in Concrete Arcanum is because you have some kind of appreciation or love for modern fantasy and the supernatural. So I was wondering if we could go around and briefly, everybody say what you actually enjoy. Why does fantasy and supernatural in the modern world, what has a particular appeal about that to you? So, or what does that appeal to you in particular, as opposed to, say, going through a portal to another world, kind of Harry Potter-esque, or having things set in a fictional world, a fictional fantasy world that you made up. So, Russell, would like to go first?
mean, I like all fantasy, like whatever it is. Like I don't
Fair
have
enough.
a preference. Like I mostly write Portal fantasy, but like I like whatever epic fantasy, urban fantasy, whatever the fantasy is. Like I do not like the world that I am living in. So like the further it is removed from reality, I
Right.
guess like this world is so messed up that like having fantasy explanations for it is about as good as anything else. So like that, I guess that would be my answer.
Love it. Hey, Matt.
Yeah, so I mean, the introduction to fantasy probably is pretty similar to a lot of people. Is reading The Hobbit and stuff like that. Just a deep love of mythology, and lately, I've been really enjoying taking mythology or stories from around the world and putting a modern spin on them. So this anthology was something that was perfectly tailor made for that.
Nice. Wonderful. Kayla.
Yep. I'm also a fan of pretty much all fantasy and sci-fi. And well, when I was a kid, it was, cartoons based on superhero comics that kind of got me interested in that kind of thing. So that's just kind of gone into now. And I won't even get started on the horror fandom that came up when I was a kid.
It's no worries. We're all friends here. Bye, Bob. How about you?
Yeah, just about recently I started watching Supernatural and shows like Constantine and stuff. So yeah, that really intrigued me on the urban fantasy kind of thing that I was not aware of earlier. I was more into sci-fi or other things. But yeah, this when I read in the Facebook group, I read that you're looking for artists to apply for this anthology. I just loved the idea. I had to apply. I did not think a lot about the story. Like I had not prepared this before. It was kind of a on the moment pitch, but I am happy to have been selected, and this contribute to this genre is a great honor.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you. And Brooke.
I'm going to have to agree with Russell on this one that the world sometimes seems a little too dark. And so, diving into fantasy is just such a great way to find some hope in the world. So that's kind of where my love of fantasy comes from. I like the idea that there are unseen things going on in the world. And and bringing those stories to light.
Fantastic. And Sarah.
Yeah, I do enjoy all fantasy. I am more drawn typically to urban fantasy. I think it's kind of for similar reasons. I like the idea that there might be these kind of mysterious things going on, and this mystery in the world that we haven't uncovered yet. And I think there's something about having characters who are in our world who have these magical abilities, and that feels more. In some ways, I think it feels more maybe empowering to see these characters who could be grounded in reality but could have these abilities versus being in a completely fictional kind of setting.
Right. Most definitely. And joining us now is Travis Gibb. Woo! Let's see. Travis, I'm wondering if you could take a moment to introduce yourself, give us a quick pitch for your Concrete Arcanum story, and then maybe build on that and tell us what in particular about a fantasy in the modern day appeals to you over, say, maybe epic fantasy or portal fantasy.
Yeah, so I'm Travis Gibb. I'm a comic writer. I've done tons of stuff from Granite State Punk to Rogue Down 4 Dead Bodies, Voodoo Nations, because Hulu Invades, all sorts of really cool stuff. My story for Concrete Arcanum is, when I was asked about the project and asked to submit, I wanted to think about creatures that I don't get to play with a lot. So I love leprechauns. I think they're really, really fun. So I wanted to put leprechauns against the culture of Native American, like the spirits, guides, and all that stuff, and kind of mix their mythologies together, have a lot of fun. So I kind of put them against each other in a fun, creative way, and got to use some of the lores of both to really create something neat based on the prompt that we came up with. For me, I love fantasy. I love role-playing games. So for me, Shadowrun was always my thing, playing in that world. and getting all that stuff taken care of. Oh, my son is invading. I apologize. He just jumped on the bed. Yeah, that's what really inspired me to do this stuff like this. I love. Hey, you gotta chill. To do stuff like D&D and Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. So I kind of love those genres. I love to play in those. I tend to do more crime and write more supernatural stuff. But everyone loves fantasy. It's a fun genre.
It's true, and I'm utterly thrilled that you brought up Shadowrun. That was I played that in high school before I ever played Dungeons and Dragons, so I got thrown in the deep end on that one. So thank you so much. So great answers all. So my next question is going to be, when you guys read modern fantasy in particular, or fantasy in general, what's like maybe a trope that you're kind of a little bit sick of, like oh man, that thing again, they're pulling out that old chestnut. Like what's something that you, when you're reading other people's stuff, there's a repeating pattern that you wish would just kind of disappear? Give you a moment to think, and then whenever you're ready, how about Russell?
I'm gonna again say I like all fantasy. Like I like all tropes of fantasy. That's why I read fantasy. Like I mean, I read fantasy. So when I see something like so Ichabod is like a subversion of the Chosen One.
There you go.
Chosen One narrative. So like I enjoy reading books that like subvert tropes that I already know. But like I'm very happy to just read a book that like has all the tropes and in the exact way that I think that they should, that they usually are portrayed to. But usually I enjoy most when watching a trope be deconstructed and then reassembled in an interesting way. But I'm agnostic to the trope. I guess if I had to pick, it would be like clearly othering marginalized humans as clearly evil characters, like goblins in Harry Potter, or any of that stuff like that. Like if I had to pick one, I could get rid of that one right now, and it would be fine.
Right. I do like your answer though, so I'm going to maybe tweak my question a little bit and change it from what trope would you like to go away to maybe what trope would you like to go away, and maybe what trope would you like to subvert, or what trope do you enjoy subverting? Take it away.
The Chosen One narrative.
Yeah, the Chosen One narrative.
All my books
I like it. That was great. Matt, go for it.
Yeah, so I guess maybe the trope that I don't really like all that much is sort of when you're on the epic quest, you have a core group, you're going to fight the big bad, you've gone on this whole journey, and then all of a sudden towards the end you acquire a really powerful or new member of the group that is a deciding factor in that last battle. I've been with these people for so long, I'm invested in them, and then they meet somebody close to the end that is the turning point.
Right.
I love the Dark Tower by Stephen King. It's thousands of pages of 7 books, but I'm not going to get into a spoiler. But when they eventually meet up with the big bad, there's somebody that they just met that's able to take him out. I was invested in that core group that I've been following through those 7 books, and for them to take out the big bad, to be either taken out or help be taken out by somebody new. I did really enjoy that. So sort of the new member who might just swoop in as like the Deus Ex Machina to like save the day as the trope. As far as the one that I would like to play with or subvert, I'm trying to think, because we just did that, relatively recent in the questions. The time travel thing where you mess up like one aspect of the butterfly effect, and it sort of always seems to wreck everything. So maybe like you mess with the butterfly effect, and instead of it wrecking everything, it just sort of makes everything better. It seems like when you mess with the butterfly effect, it's always a negative. So maybe just trying to change around, like, hey, I made a mistake in this time travel quest. I talked to the wrong person. I went to the wrong place, and instead of it sort of wrecking it, and I fought my grandfather and I killed my grandfather, and now I'm no longer to be bored. Maybe you do something, and the butterfly effect is betters everything.
Right on. All right, Kayla.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say it's like that Simpsons episode, the trio simulator. They like go through time, and like Homer like messes up all of like the prehistoric era, but then it goes into the future, and like rain is donuts instead of rain.
Yes. The time traveling toaster. Probably one of my favorite Simpsons Halloween episodes, quite frankly. That was a classic.
I would say so.
Yeah. Kayla.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And most of the tropes that I tend to have a problem with, like, aren't fantasy based explicitly, but there are more romance tropes that find their way in. Yeah. Love triangle I can do without. Yeah. Although that could also be a fun one to play with.
I always think, why do they have to choose? Why can't they all?
Exactly.
Right there you go. So maybe
polyamory is a thing.
Indeed. Let's see. Vibob seems to have stepped away for a moment, but that's okay. We'll come back around. How about Brooke?
So I think my biggest beef, and I've seen this go away in recent years, but the whole good versus evil, black and white. I am not a huge fan of the all good, all evil. I like the whole there's those gray areas in there, and having to choose the lesser of two evils and live with those consequences. And I appreciate that stories are starting to travel towards that. And also the other big one that I really love is the outcast of whatever character it is, whether it's the troll that is the kind, gentle one that wants to go and not destroy everything. But I love those, not putting all of one particular character type into the same bucket.
Right.
That one. Yeah.
Right. Planet of Hats kind of situation.
Yeah,
Aha.
exactly.
Nice. Let's see. Travis. I think I like okay, so sorry, hold on quick. I want to call out, we are joined now also by Seth Tamarkin, excuse me, and Big Tim Styles from Down Under. I was wondering if you two could give us a quick tell us who you are and a quick pitch for your Concrete Arcanum story. Seth, go for it.
All right. So my name's Seth. I'm 24. I'm from Massachusetts, South Shore, if anyone knows that. And my story is basically about like a Tinder date gone wrong, where this chick thinks she's dating someone who's like going to be a werewolf or something, and she's into that. But then the creature he transforms into ends up being like a were squirrel, and hilarity ensues. So,
right. I have to say, I don't typically laugh out loud while I'm reading things, but Seth's story made me laugh out loud while I was reading it. So
thank you.
Well done for that. But let's see. And then Tim. Tim, can you hear me?
He doesn't seem to be moving.
It might be frozen. All right. So, okay, we'll come back around then. Here we go. Vibob, do you have a trope in modern fantasy that you would like to subvert or wish would go away? Vibob? Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, I was putting in my earphones.
No worries.
So I'm not really the writer in the group, so tropes and all I'm not much sure of. One thing that I hate in fantasy or any most of these kind of movies is that when people go on a quest, like they have to collect certain powerful objects, and then they at the end they combine it, or by magic they produce something new out of it. and suddenly it becomes insanely powerful. So like I don't understand why nobody has ever done it before, or like they need to defeat the evil big bad, and they are the only people first time they have thought of this thing. Like if there was something that was mentioned somewhere that they have to do this and create this spell, and these group of people are the first people who have ever done this. So that is a trope. Like that is a 90% of supernatural that I've seen, is just collecting objects and killing the people. That is what I hate. I think that it can be changed somehow, or probably some twist on it. That is one trope that I hate. Subversion, I'll have to think about something. I cannot think of anything right now. I'm blanking.
No worries. Let's see, Travis. I think we paused on you quick. What is a trope that you wish would go away or subvert?
I just don't understand why all step parents have to be dicks. Like, I just don't, like they're all like evil. Like, you know, there's good step parents out there, right? Like, I'm a stepfather. I don't be particularly evil and make them mop floors. You know,
Right. That's what you want us to think, right? No.
Yeah. The other one that I hate too is they're all evil except for this one. This one is not.
The exception.
That is a big trope that I hate.
Right.
But one of the things that I'd like to see, like that I would like to start. Do you remember, like, not the new Fallouts, but the old computer game Fallout?
Oh, wow.
When if you were a dick to a whole bunch of people, eventually your characters would leave. I wish that would happen more in fantasy, where like you'd be like, yo, I don't particularly like the way you're handling this situation. Like, I'm gonna leave. I remember being so upset when I was playing Fallout and a character left and there was no way for me to fix it because I had my save points. I was like, oh, me being a jerk to everyone, though it was really fun for me, has negative consequences on the world. I felt that I learned something that day that I really need to have taken with me my entire life.
Right. Very nice. And Sarah?
One of the tropes that I think I've seen kind of being subverted in some of the stuff that I've been reading is light magic versus dark magic. And I think that's really interesting. I think when you have the trope where it's like only villains will do this kind of magic, it's a little too simplified. But having characters or like good characters who are put in positions where they have to do that kind of magic and kind of questioning like, well, is it good or evil or light or dark, or is it all just a spectrum of magic? I think that's cool. That's interesting.
Good point. And yeah, I've noticed a lot, both in fiction and in societal conversations writ large. I think we're moving away from the binary point of view, like things are either this or that. That things can, as you say, exist along a spectrum. So that's a great observation. Seth?
I honestly don't really like watch or read fantasy at all. I've never like even finished Lord of the Rings. So I did watch Game of Thrones though. So.
Get out! No, I'm kidding.
I don't really have that much tropes that I know. I'm not really like, I'm kind of like dumb. I don't really understand the tropes when I see something. You know what I mean? I don't really like make the connection. So if you don't mind, I'll pull out from like just a trope in general that I've noticed that I don't like when like in a lot of shows or whatever, like the Nazis are like the baddest people of all time. Like it's like, oh man, there's no one as evil as this guy, because I almost feel like it gives them too much clout. I like what like Mel Brooks did, where in like a comic I'm writing right now, I'm trying to do the same thing where he just made the Nazis look like pathetic losers. Because I mean, if you look at like right now too in America, like, you know, the people who are like, you know, right wing, like the Nazis or whatever, they're out here like complaining about Disney Channel like all day long and about how it's like too, you know, diverse or whatever. And it's like, I thought you guys are trying to take over the world. You guys look pathetic. Well, I don't know. That's kind of like a trope. I don't know. I don't know much about fantasy and stuff.
Right. Oh, that's a good one though. Yeah. It can become shorthand a little bit, and also, yes, people who are supposed to be so big and strong are getting the piss taken out of them by a mouse or a cartoon show. So that's good. That's not a bad one, actually. So, all right, we're going to take another crack at Big Tim Styles. Could you tell us who you are and give us a quick pitch for your Concrete Arcanum story?
Hey, guys. Look, can you hear me all right? I'm coming through okay? Fantastic. Look, I'm Big Tim from Australia. It's like 1:30 in the morning over here, so my apologies for being late. I got the time zones wrong. I thought it wasn't for another half an hour, and then I saw the email go out that says, "Hey, we're live now," and I was like, "Oh crap!" And I grabbed my computer and hooked everything up. So yeah, I'm Big Tim. I write a comic book called Gorilla My Dreams, and
hilarious, by the way.
Thank you. And when I saw the submissions, Nathan put the call out for Concrete Arcanum. The story I pitched was actually just a short 2-pager that I had been wanting to write for a long time. It had been bouncing around in my head for a long time, but it just didn't fit into any of the issues that I had released so far. But this was just a real chance to bring Knockaround Guy, my superhero, into this world of urban fantasy and a step away from his fighting crime, putting on a mask and punching the world into a better place. To deal with a bit more of the supernatural, So, it was a story I'd wanted to write for a while, but just didn't quite have the right place to put it. And then when the submissions came out for this, I was like, oh, sweet, this is it.
All right. Glad to have you aboard. All right. We're all busy people, so I'm going to go around quick with one more quick question. Who is your favorite character that's not yours? I'll give you a minute to think about it.
Alice, from Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, nice. Russell right away, right out the box. Matt.
In general, or
anyone. Who's your favorite character that isn't yours?
Han Solo.
Han Solo, very nice. How about Brooke?
I'm gonna have to kind of piggyback on Matt there. Indiana Jones.
There you go. Harrison Ford for the win. Travis.
Yep.
I can't say Harrison Ford because he's not a fictional character, right?
He could be. All right, yeah.
No, Magneto. I love Magneto. I love the duality. I feel that he encompasses me. Like, I want to do all the right things, but I'm doing it the absolute wrong way. So I relate to that. I get it.
Right. I've always said, the common wisdom is like the villain is the hero of their own story. I contend that the best villains are the victims of their own story. Therefore, whatever they do is justified in their actions. Sarah.
The poster behind me. Big Trekkie. Also a big Catwoman person.
Very nice. Kayla?
Oh man, that's always been a hard one for me to narrow down. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Skip me. I'm too indecisive.
All right, too many. About Bob. Who's your favorite character that isn't yours?
For me, it would be Hellboy. It's another fantasy character and a dream job to draw him professionally.
Right, there you go. Seth.
I think recently I would say like Batman, because you can go from like Brave and the Bold, that like Adam West type, but I've also been reading a lot of like the Frank Miller stuff, like All-Star Batman and Robin. I honestly think it's like hilarious. So a big Frank Miller Batman fan.
Right on. He is a surprisingly versatile character. You're not wrong. Tim.
Look, I have to piggyback and say Hellboy as well. From the first time I read a comic with him in it, he was my favorite. I love that he has been created in the bowels of hell to bring an end to this world. But then, due to Professor Broom, raising him and teaching him, he's just like, I've got this power to destroy the world, but I'd rather not, sort of thing. I'd rather go and have a beer and earn a paycheck instead. It really spoke to me that it doesn't matter where you're from, what your past is. You can make the decision to make your life better, to make the world better. I don't know if that's a wanky answer or not, but that's why I love Hellboy so much.
That is a great answer. All right, I lied. One more question. Where can we find you online, Russell?
So you can go to this link below at russellnolte.com/Kickstarter. You'll see my Kickstarter project, my website. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter at Russell Nolte. Please do not follow me on Instagram. I only use it to talk to my artists, specifically my tattoo artists. I also want to note that I love Alice so much, and Travis Gibb gave me the opportunity to write her in his Cthulhu Invades Wonderland series. So if you like anthologies, you should check that one out too, as well as this one.
Absolutely. Matt.
Yeah, I guess the easiest place to go, which would have links to everything else, is my website, mattcoon.com. Just my name with .com at the end of it.
Brooke.
Best place to find me is at my website as well. It's Creating Meraki Studios. Meraki is spelled MERAKI, and all of the other things are on there.
Wonderful. Travis.
Sorry, I'm muted. Mostly at Taco Bell is where you can find me, but if I'm not there, you can find me on my Substack, travisgibb.substack.com. That'll lead you to everywhere else you need to go.
Yeah, I appreciate you on the mute button. I always say you gotta mute yourself before you toot yourself. Anyway, Sarah, your turn.
So I'm on Instagram at Sarah Cook Writer. I also have a Substack. It's sarahlindsaycook.substack.com. And the pre-launch page for my campaign for No Spell Lasts Forever, #1, which is also an urban fantasy, launching in October. The shortened link for that is tiny.cc/nospell.
Wonderful. Kayla.
Yep. Well, I'm trying to remember the exact link to my website right now, but the WordPress is kmatt.wordpress.com. That's where I am some of the time. Other times I'm hiding from the other projects that I have in the works.
Right. Bob.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Way Above Comics as in my display name, and also on ArtStation with the same username.
Right on. Yeah. Seth.
Right now only on like Instagram, which is just my name, Seth Tamarkin.
Very good. And Tim.
And I'm Big Tim Styles on any social medias, except Facebook. If you see me on Facebook, it's kind of like Russell. I only use Facebook to, keep in touch with Comics Launch and other creators and things like that. So I have no friends on there. But, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Substack, look up Big Tim Styles, and that's me.
Wonderful.
Would I be able to find all your social medias on your websites and such?
I would hope so.
I guess that's just cool.
Right on. I am Nathan Luth. You can find me at nathanluthillustration.com. Concrete Arcanum is live until Halloween. It is the opening weekend, though, so jump on that to get yourself some early bird bonuses. And you can also see the amazing work of all these folks who are actually in the book. So thank you all for coming, and thank you all for helping make this project fly. You are the best. And I will be in touch and see you out there. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Yeah. Thank you for this event.
My
nice
pleasure.
to meet you all too.
Yeah. Bye.